Hey, what's up everyone, David here and welcome back to another discussion type of video. And something's been on my mind for a couple of days now in terms of the Persona 25th anniversary and Persona 3. Persona 3 is a game that I feel like when people bring it up, whether it's for some type of board, some re-release, anything, there's always room for discussion, and it's kind of what I want to talk about today. If Persona 3 is to come back, and it needs to come back, in what way, shape, or form is it gonna get re-released? There's so many options, there's so many things that the Atlus can do in terms of Persona 3, and today I just want to talk about all these options. And I want us to try and figure out what would be the best way, both in a consumer sense and also in a business sense, for Atlus to bring back Persona 3. And I'm also going to share my personal opinion on what I would like to see if they are to re-release Persona 3. So let's just jump right into it. You guys drop a comment below and let me know, how do you want Persona 3 to come back? If you want it to come back, I know some people don't like the game. If you don't want it, it's fine. I'm here to discuss with my fellow Persona 3 fans to talk about how we want the game to come back. Let's just jump right into it, and I'm gonna give some context for you guys. Persona 3 initially released on PlayStation 3, and that was the standard version of Persona 3, but a couple of years after, the game released again, and it was called Persona 3 FES, which included a new chapter in the game called The Answer. And The Answer is a chapter for the character Aegis. And it's a new chapter that some people like, others don't. It's pretty mixed in the community, but it's new content. That was the re-release on PS2, which pretty much makes the original worthless in a way. The original is basically FES without The Answer. So you want the game with the most content, right? So we can discard the original P3. I think if Atlus is to bring back Persona 3, it's not going to be the original. The one game that will take the spot of the original would be FES with The Answer. And what's interesting about FES is that you have some fully 3D rendered cutscenes where you can see the characters moving around, just typical Neo Persona, right? What you can see in Persona 4, for example. That's what you get in Persona 3 FES. Now some of you may ask, why do I feel the need to bring this up? That's because of another re-release that Persona 3 had to go through, which is Persona 3 Portable, which released for the PSP a couple of years later. Now that version of the game is completely different. The first and biggest thing that changed is the actual structure and gameplay style of the game. You don't have the cutscenes anymore. It is kind of a point and click game. Same story, same bosses, same gameplay, same spells, all those things, except for exploration. You don't move around with the protagonist, you move a little cursor around certain maps to choose whether you want to move to another map or talk to some characters. So you don't see all the cutscenes, you don't see all those things, which is due to the limitations in terms of power of the PlayStation Portable versus the PlayStation 2. So for that reason, it's very different. It's kind of like a visual novel, except for the gameplay in dungeons. So when you're exploring the main dungeon of Persona 3, which is called Tartarus, you are traveling around with your party just like in the PlayStation 2 version. Now what are the differences? Well, the first difference is party control. When you fight in Persona 3 FES, you have to give orders to some of your party members. You let them know if you want them to be full-on attack mode or defense mode. And I know this is not how they're called. I just don't really remember. It's been a while since I played P3 FES. But you give options of what your characters should do. So you don't choose all the options for all your characters. Now in Persona 3 Portable, you have what fans in the community call party control. And that's a feature that allows you to choose which spells all your party members should do. So you fully control all your party members, while in FES you partially control them, if that makes sense. And the community is pretty divided. Some people enjoy the system in FES and they say it makes more sense for various different reasons, and some other people prefer the portable system, which is what you can see in games like Persona 4 and 5 and a lot of modern RPGs. So that's one of the differences. The elephant in the room is the female main character. Now in Persona 3 Portable, you have a brand new character, which is the female protagonist for the game, which changes some of the social links and changes a lot of things actually. It's a completely different character and gives access to new characters as well in terms of the Velvet Room people and all that stuff. So a lot of differences come from the fact that there is a female main character. Of course, there's also the new audio tracks in the game that comes with Persona 3 Portable. And the game was never re-released after Portable. So we have to look at two versions today. We have to look at Persona 3 FES, which is the PS2 game, and also Portable. And on this day, April 2022, there is no definitive version of Persona 3, which is the main reason why a lot of people want a re-release of some kind, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Now, in terms of the re-release, what would be the best thing? Some people are saying just port FES, other people are saying just port Portable, and other people are saying it needs to be remade, and I want to talk about all those things. Now, I made a video specifically on the remake part side of things, so if you want to check out my video on a Persona 3 remake, there will be a card up on screen right now that you can click to hear my in-depth thoughts about a remake. I do not think Persona 3 need a remake personally. If you guys think it needs a remake, you drop a comment below and explain yourself. No, I'm just kidding. You have the right to have your own opinion, but I'm curious to hear why you think it needs a remake. That being said, today's for a different type of video. I want to talk about how they should bring it back, in my personal opinion. And I do think the best way to bring it back, and that would make a lot of sense, both in a customer sense and a business sense, would be to bring back Persona 3 FES with party control. I think that's one of the solutions that they could do. Now, I know what you guys are going to say. Well, if they do that, they cut all the content, all the new content of Portable in terms of the female main character and the other new characters, new soundtracks and all that stuff. Now, first of all, the new tracks, they could find a way to put it inside the Persona 3 FES port, the HD re-release of FES, right? What they did with Persona 4 Golden, they should do that with FES, make it Persona 3 FES HD Remastered Definitive Edition, right? Something like that. You put the audio tracks from Portable in the game, which wouldn't cost much, right? It's homemade by Atlus, those tracks, so you could find a way to make them work inside FES. The content from Portable in terms of the female main character and the other new characters, other stuff like that, that has to be cut. And the reason for that is because, don't forget, you have the 3D cutscenes in FES. They would have to redo all the cutscenes for the female main character. They're not going to do that except if they completely remake the game. So for that reason, in the opinion of someone like me who thinks the game doesn't really need a remake, the FES port makes the most sense. And the ability to have party control is something that they could easily implement in Persona 3 FES as an option. Some of the older vets, older fans of Persona 3, they want that old combat system in there, and I think it should stay there. And for people like me who prefer party control, like in Portable, this should be an option, and that's something that they can absolutely do. Fans did it already. If you guys are emulating, for example, FES, you can add with mods party control in the game super easily. So that's definitely one of the things that I think they should do in terms of FES. But I think there's another way that they could bring back Persona 3, and that would be through Portable. They could port Persona 3 Portable, and that's kind of a definitive edition in it of itself. Now, there's no cutscenes, there's no all that stuff. It's really visual novel style, but at least they keep the female main character, they keep party control, they keep the new tracks and the old tracks. So it kind of pleases everyone, except there's no cutscenes. So in my personal opinion, to port FES and add party control makes way more sense in HD for a re-release than to bring back Persona 3 Portable, which is a very different type of game, right? People that played, let's say, Persona 5, right? Persona really spiked in popularity after P5 came out, and Persona 4 Golden on PC as well. Those people, they want something similar. They want a similar experience. So if they look at Persona 3 FES in HD with party control, it's like, hey, that's Persona 5, that's Persona 4. That's what I know and love with those cutscenes and all that stuff in HD, social links. Hey, I'll play that game. If they see Persona 3 Portable, well, that's kind of different, right? Visual novel style, all that thing, point and click to choose where you want to go. That's something that may block some people for sure. So personally, I think the most logical thing that Atlus should do is to bring back Persona 3 FES. Party control needs to be in there, in my opinion, because that's going to block a lot of people. The audio tracks that are in Portable should be brought back. I think they could be brought back pretty easily for the remaster. Will Atlus put the effort to make these tracks fit in with the game? I'm not so sure about that, but that's something that I would absolutely like to see. Maybe you could toggle like audio options and all that stuff to see if you want to get the tracks or not. But in terms of like the female character and all that stuff, I think we need to kiss her goodbye. I think it's done. Personally, if they are to choose that option, I'm a little scared that they're gonna bring back portable, because they're cutting way more content out if they port FES instead of portable, right? Persona 3 portable, they're cutting a whole game, which is the female character's route. In terms of FES, if they choose to port portable, they only cut the answer, which is a chapter, right? We'll have to wait and see. The remake is another route that, once again, if you want to check it out, click the card on screen for my Persona 3 remake video. But I think the game is pretty good on its own, and I think that the main issues that the game have are issues that can't really be fixed with a remake. We're talking like Tartarus, which is the same location and all that stuff. They're not gonna completely remake and just do another dungeon. That's basically another game at this point. So a remake, again, I don't want to go too in depth because I made a completely different video, long video on that specific topic. But a remake, in my opinion, is something that I could discuss for even longer. I really do feel like it doesn't make that much sense. But you guys, it's enough rambling for today. I needed to get my thoughts on there in terms of Persona 3. What do you guys think about P3? There's so much room for discussion for P3. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to say on the subject. Now, if you enjoyed this quick discussion video, drop a thumbs up. It really helps to support the channel. And again, if you want more content on anything Atlus, Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, we're back on 1000% full-on Atlus content. So make sure to subscribe, ring that notification bell, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.